Welcome to another episode of Question It, where a question is posed and we share our perspectives. I'm your host, Kevin Strauss, and also founder of Uchi, a private social app built around one belief, that everything feels possible when you know someone has your back every day. Today, my guest is SB Rawz. SB, can you introduce yourself, please?
I would be delighted to. I am a fan of Kevin's and Uchi's. I am also a coach for people who want to leave life a little better than they found it.
Better. Gosh, we could talk about that for an hour.
We could.
But true to form, before we started recording, SB chose a random number from my list of over 200 questions. And so today's question is, what's something you do regularly that helps you feel more like yourself? So SB, you have the floor and I am just here to listen.
I love this question. And I think you and I have a feeling, a little mind meldy kind of feeling that you and I went to a similar place on it immediately, which is like, what even is the self? What are we even talking about here? Right? Because the first thing I thought was, well, I beat up on myself, right? That's very me. Like, that's a very me kind of thing to do, is to get mad at myself, to make myself responsible for anything that doesn't go right, to hold myself to perfectionistic standards and be terribly disappointed when I don't meet them, right? Like, that's very me. But also me are many other things. And in fact, when the they them pronouns started getting more popular, I thought, God, how wonderful, right? Like, how wonderful, because like Whitman said, he said, I contain multitudes, and we do. Like, the self is a multiplicity, right? And so that's absolutely me, right? To do those terrible self-punishing things. And it's not the me I mean to be, right? And so there's also this part of me that is very gentle and kind and wise, um, and I see that part of me, something I do regularly, my coaching practice for one, right? I feel like I open the doorway to that part of me every time I sit in meditation, every time I practice yoga, right? Every time I do these sort of more contemplative practices, I journal or whatever. These are all things that I do regularly that I feel like are making space for more of that me. There's also a me that I witness in the kitchen. Cooking is one of my very favorite creative outlets, and I have a real comfort and ease in the kitchen. I just kind of know what to do. It's not that I'm a gourmet cook or anything by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm a darn good cook, like I'm a darn good cook. And I'm just very comfortable in the kitchen. Like, food and we're in communication. Like, my knife and I are in communication. Like, we all know how to work together, right? Like, the heat of the stove and I are in communication. We know how to work together. And one of my very favorite things in life is to have somebody nearby that I can chat with and feed every so often. Hey, taste this. What do you think of this? And make that a part of the communication. So I feel a profound ease in the kitchen and in the coaching space, that feel very me. But then there's this other me who I love this part of me. And recently, my wife and I, with our tax refunds this year, we bought bikes. We bought e-bikes. We were like, yes, middle-aged e-bikes, let's do this. Um, and they're so much fun. The salesman said it would feel like getting a little push from behind, because it's the kind of bikes where you still have to pedal, right? The battery doesn't kick in unless you're pedaling. Um, and so we have these bikes, and there's this freedom and this delight and this joy that I feel when I'm riding my bike, that I remember from being a kid, but I haven't experienced since then, is the wind. And I look like a fool in the best possible way, because I'm just grinning so big, I'm like, I'm gonna get bugs in my mouth, but I can't stop smiling. Like, get spikes, great, right? And I feel that way whenever whenever I'm engaged in any sort of silliness. And actually, I do that less frequently than I would like to, the silliness part. And what I have found is that it's so incredibly important to me that foolishness is actually one of my core values. And it has multiple meanings, foolishness in this context, but one of the meanings is being ridiculous, is being playful and silly. And so when I notice sort of the indicators within myself that I'm not being foolish enough, I will literally, turn on the camera on my computer or go in the bathroom and I'll make faces at myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh, my foolishness tank is low and I can feel it really draining me and I'm feeling disconnected from myself, and that's gonna lead to disconnection from other people. Right. And so I like quick, like do something dumb now. Right. And it's why I still embrace, like, there's a part of me that has like a 13-year-old boy's sense of humor, and like, cool. I love that part, right? Like all of these really contribute to this feeling that not only do I love, but is important, right? Is important to my ability to keep showing up in my own life in ways that feel good, and for other people in ways that feel good. So yeah, that's what that question brought up for me.
Wow. I mean, just to pick up on the last part about foolishness reminds me a lot of playfulness for me.
Mhm.
And the only thing that really, we haven't had a chance to do that so much together, but we probably could. But was it through COVID that you were doing like the weekly dance party and we would turn our video and we would do like, you had a playlist and we did it for like 15 minutes or something.
Mhm.
And we danced, literally had a group of people dancing in their own spaces. That does that fall into the foolishness, or because it definitely falls into the playfulness, which is a huge part of my personality, but just, oh my gosh, at least for the last 12 years has not really come out at all like it needs to. Um, but what's really interesting also is when you first started answering the question, you went deep fast. Like, I'm thinking, oh man, my answer is very like literal. And you went like deep and philosophical and abstract. I'm like, ooh, I like that too. Like, that's heavy. Like, what is the self? And
Mhm.
what why do you think like that was the first way that you went?
Oh, that's such a good question. You know, I think it's a perpetual question of mine. One of the things that I witness in myself and in all of us, or at least everybody I'm lucky enough to coach, right? Which is, a subset, right? People who willingly engage in coaching, right? That's its own personality type in some ways, or at least subset of humanity. Um, but that there's this real opportunity that we have to distinguish the parts of self such that we're working from the most appropriate part based on the circumstance.
At the time.
Yeah, right. And we all have parts that are all parts of us are worthy of attention and love and care, but
Yeah.
not all parts of us are good decision makers, right? Some parts of us have outdated strategies, right?
Very
And
true.
right, and ideally their role in our lives now is to be recipients of care and love and nothing else,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And there are just so many parts to ourselves. We are not one-dimensional creatures. I did a whole video on this like a couple years ago. It wasn't a long video, but it was actually a video because people were coming down on Taylor Swift for talking about politics finally. She shouldn't talk about politics. She's a singer. Well, she can be talking about politics as well. And what if she's an expert at needlepoint? Let her talk about needlepoint too, because she's been doing it for 35 years. I'm just making this up. But
Yeah.
I don't know a single person ever in the history of humanity that was one dimensional. Even the hunters, might be good at trapping as well, and the
Hmm.
gatherers were good at climbing because they needed to pick the fruit off the higher, part of the tree. So we are not one-dimensional creatures.
Hmm.
Nobody is. We can there's so many facets to ourselves, and where you went with it was like how we're hard on ourselves so often. We can beat up on ourselves. I mean, there's so much negative self-talk that's happening in our brains that we're not even aware of.
Exactly.
I
Right.
know I'm not aware of a lot of that. I think I don't have any like negative self-talk, but we all do. Come on. Like that's such an absurd thing to think that I don't have negative self-talk. Of course I do. But I'm
Yeah.
like oblivious to it.
I mean, that's not a bad place to be, I guess. I don't know, but I do think that growing consciousness around, right, around our quieter habits of thinking,
Wait,
right?
unpack that for me.
Um, um, we all
Growing
have
consciousness around our quieter habits of being,
of thinking,
of
yeah,
thinking.
and being,
Okay,
right? Like
but
they're
thinking.
they're
O-
interrelated, right? But like
o-
that's what meditation in part it opens us up to, right? Is that we get to observe our thoughts. And we get, oh, that's a thought. I'll give
That's
you an
interesting.
example. Okay, I was
Yeah,
working with
please.
somebody this morning, and she was just beating the hell out of herself. It was just like, oh gosh, I was just listening to her like, oh God, I could like stop. Like this feels terrible, right? Like you don't deserve this, man.
Like
And
watching a violent
and
crime.
exactly. And so I asked her to do something that I ask clients to do all the time, which I call neutral noticing. And the whole thing is just to retell the story with zero judgment. Right. So now it's just
How'd
just the
that go?
facts. Oh, it was beautiful. She did an amazing job. Usually I have to stop people a bunch of times and be like, okay, like I don't think that was a fact. I think that was a judgment, right? She did it beautifully. She just like told the exact same story. She stripped out all of the judgment. She said, here are the facts of what happened. And all of a sudden, this big, terrible thing turned into like, oh, actually, I did a pretty good job. Like, actually, that was a
Wow.
tricky situation and I did a pretty
Did
good
she
job. I
feel like
responded
a
to it.
massive sense of relief?
Absolutely. Right. And so all the judgment she was layering in were just habits of thinking.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Like she was just in the habit of telling herself certain stories about herself that were pretty unkind, that are pretty
Okay.
unkind.
That
Right.
was
And so
really
when
helpful. Thank you.
so help, yeah, well, good. And so that's part of what meditation opens us to, and practices like this neutral noticing is that we start to separate out these habits of thinking from what's actually going on. And then we get to make choices about the habit, right? Is this habit serving me,
Hmm.
right? Or is this
Hmm.
a habit that I need to work on changing,
Hmm.
right? Because actually it's just making everything harder.
Right. Right. Wow, that was really cool. Well, thank you for unpacking that because it really helped, and the example was extra helpful. So thank you for that. Okay, now where else did you go in this? The bike riding,
Yes.
the freedom, the face making. That really like painted a picture for me. Um, in my head. Um, is the bike riding part of the silliness too? Is that like playing like a kid again, or
I think so. The distinction I'm noticing as I share this with you, though, that there's a distinction for me, and I'm wondering how it fits into your playfulness. Because for me, a lot of what I code as foolishness, I do feel ridiculous at times. Like I sort of have to make myself do it because there's a part of me that feels really self-conscious and like, okay, you're 48, like seriously, get it together, right? And then there's another part of me that's like, no, 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 no. Like not only is this okay, but it's like good and important, you know? The
hmm,
bike riding. I don't feel self-conscious. I feel a tiny bit self-conscious about, but that's because it's an e-bike and people like to talk smack about e-bikes, um, which
do
I
they?
didn't
What do they
expect
say
when we
about
bought them.
e-bikes?
Oh my gosh, people are like, oh, I mean, I like to build muscle. I like to exercise. And I'm like, well, I am exercising, but also I'm trying to have fun because like I'm alive right now.
God, there's
Like I,
so
I
much
really just want to
judgment.
be alive right now. I was so surprised. I mean, I just didn't see it coming how often people would just be like, so I have a tiny bit of self-consciousness about that, but Most of the other stuff I have more self-consciousness about. I have to like really sort of like, all right, like do this thing. Like it's gonna be so worth it, you know? And
And
is
that
playfulness like that at all? Sorry to interrupt, but
I don't
or is it
hold on.
easy?
Playfulness,
Hmm.
I don't know. But when you're feeling that self-consciousness or
Hmm.
seriousness, that is that when you like might go make faces at yourself?
The cue that I need to make faces with myself is that I'm noticing um a disconnection from joy. And if I let it go on far enough, I will do things like hear music and my body won't remember how to dance. Like my body
Mm.
will just be like, no,
So there's
I
a
don't think we
real
ever did that.
disconnect between like the
Hmm.
input and how it's getting processed through you.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it can get
Whoa.
really divided in here. And so if I can do these little silly playful things, um, these little silly foolish things, it helps me keep that connection, right? And then I have greater access to joy generally.
Mm-hmm. And when you were talking about the foolishness, and I'm thinking playfulness, but as you were talking about it, I'm also thinking, that's a big thing that Brene Brown talks about with joy and how we like don't allow ourselves to experience joy like once we're past 6 or 7 years old or whatever,
Yeah,
like we're
right.
children. Like why not? Like why
Hmm.
can't we? And then we notice ourselves. I just remember, I remember being on a walk, listening to one of her like 5 hour, lectures or whatever, and she was talking about it. And I remember where I was on the walk, like I remember the street and everything. But anyway, that's irrelevant. And how as soon as we notice we're having joy, then our next thought is like, oh my God, I might get hit by a bus now. Like we cut the joy off, like as soon as we recognize we're experiencing it. Like, what is that about? Like what the heck?
Yeah.
But I think she's really onto something there for sure. I mean, and and you're putting it into practice. And I'll be honest with you, we haven't seen each other in a while. Um, but I just recently shaved off my Van Dyke. So I had a mustache and a
That was fun.
goatee. So it was a full Van Dyke. And when I first did it, it was a full handlebar. Maybe I'll throw up a picture of it
That'd
when
be
I
great.
edit this. Um, but it was a full Van Dyke. And a lot of like one of my big reasons for having it is a reminder not to take myself so seriously. It was
Yes.
like a physical representation, being myself for sure, but a caricature of myself because it was
I love
so
that.
like ridiculous, but it was fun. Definitely a conversation starter. I remember when I was researching the whole thing, um, and some of the people were like, especially with the handlebars, like real handlebars, um, they're like, yeah, if you don't want to be noticed around town, do not
Don't do it.
grow a Van Dyke and handlebars. Like you're going to be noticed everywhere you go. And oh my God, that was so true. Now, that wasn't my goal per se, but actually it might have been in a way, but that's a whole nother story. But it was really also to be a caricature of myself, so I don't take myself so seriously. Because for the last,
Yeah.
like, ever since you've known me, but for the last 12, 14 years, I take myself a little bit too seriously, and I do want to play. So back to the playful thing,
Yes.
like yeah, like I am really silly and goofy, and like I'm definitely still like the 12, 13-year-old boy, and I love potty humor. I think it's hilarious, and I love dancing, and I love making mistakes and being like, oh, that was ridiculous. Like, you idiot, you totally just stubbed your toe, you moron. Like, and that's okay, like it's fun to screw up, and to laugh at yourself. I do that. I screw up
Hmm.
all the time. I mean,
So liberating, right?
it's ridiculous, like I'm pouring mix into a bottle, and I miss, it's powder, right? And I
Uh-huh.
miss and I hit the edge of the bottle and the powder goes all over the
Uh-huh.
counter. And now my countertops, I had to put down these silicone mats, like giant placemats, just another reason. But you can't just wipe those off. Everything kind of sticks to it. So it's like, shit. Now I can't even like reuse this whole scoop that I just spilt everywhere. Buh, idiot. But to me, that is playful too. Like, duh. Like, I totally couldn't put a scoop of powder in a bottle.
But I gotta tell you, man, if I was coaching you, I'd be calling you on the idiot and the moron talk. I'd be like, "Can we do this? Can we have the fun without the judgment words?" That's just me. That's just me.
I hear you. Yeah. For me, I don't feel like it hurts, but words do matter, you know. For me,
Yeah.
I don't feel like that hurts when I say that kind of stuff about myself. Because it is in a very playful way, but on the other side, yeah, words matter. You
Mm-hmm.
know, words matter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
totally.
You're reminding me of like at the 4th of July, we had this very small little 4th of July dinner. It was my mom, one of her very good friends, my wife, and my first spouse, and I all had dinner. And I'm sitting at the table, and my mother has made this wonderful. She takes like these, I do this too, but these frozen bananas, and she purees them so they're like ice cream, and then she puts cocoa powder in it. They're so good. So she made a pie out of this stuff.
Yeah.
So good. And I'm eating a bite, and I'm talking to her friend, and the bite falls off of my fork, and it just like smears down my shirt, and her friend is talking, so I'm trying to keep it real cool, and I'm trying to just sort of like get this little piece of pie while she's talking, and she's looking at me like, and I can see my former spouse across the way, and she's trying really hard not to crack up. Yeah, she's just like looking at me like,
Oh my God.
and finally, and I was like, inside, I was just dying, but I'm trying to like keep it tight for my mom's friend. I'm finally like, all right, I gotta get up and do something from this. I go like wash my shirt, but I thought it was hilarious.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Like, of course, it
Especially
was
because it
just
went so
still.
slowly, right? It was like,
Yeah. Glop, glop, glop. That's so funny.
but there
You
was
know,
a time in my life I would have felt terrible about that. So like,
well, yeah, a lot of people would, right? Like,
mhm.
and it's in movies and TV shows all the time. You know, someone's trying to be cool or be suave or, be attractive to the other, whoever they're trying to attract. And they take a bite out of the hot dog and the mustard or ketchup just goes, bleh. Of course that would happen. Like, I'm trying to be all cool and bleh,
Exactly.
and it's not the kind that's just gonna wipe up. It's not like, "Oh, I spilled seltzer on myself,"
Right. No.
It's like
It's a whole thing.
guacamole or, mustard that's just gonna be there forever, but
It was the best part of the 4th of July, I gotta tell
it
you. It was so fun.
it is, it's funny because no one's really getting hurt, and it's just a big deal in the whole scheme of life and everything. It's just
Exactly.
most things just don't really matter.
Right.
Most things,
Right.
really,
Exactly.
right?
That is so true. Right. And the process of separating out what does matter and what doesn't matter, one, is not something that most of us do. And
Mhm.
two, can be really freaking hard, right? Like, because our brains are like, this really matters. Elizabeth Gilbert once said, and I just love this line. She was like, "What was your worst thing 3 things ago?" I know. I just love that question. It's like, I have no idea.
That's
No idea what the
great,
worst
right?
thing
Because we
was 3 things
forget
ago.
it, like, it just
Yeah.
moves right on, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even think of what was the last worst thing that happened. I mean, I
I can
could
get there, but I can't even get to the one before that. I can get to the most recent one, but I can't get to the one before that.
I'm trying to think,
Yeah.
what was the last worst I guess what's today, Friday? Like, a few days ago, I was running with my running group where I'm the head coach of the group now. It's like a
Oh, cool.
volunteer thing, and started out well, but I'm like totally not in shape right now. I'm sharing you my worst thing. So, but I don't even know, is it really that bad? Um, so first run of the season, I am so not in shape right now. Like, I am in terrible shape for me, like really bad. And it was like a 5-mile run, and the first 3.5 miles, I'm just cruising along. I'm leading the group out. Everything's good. We're all together, and I just like tanked. Like I was like
Mm,
spent, and
mhm.
and and luckily there's an assistant coach also. So at the start of the run, I was in front and he was in back, and then after 3.5 miles, we kind of switched, and then he took over, and I was in back, like way back, like I was way back last way back, which for the coach, like, should I be in the, but I was, oh well, that's the worst
Yeah.
thing that happened, such is life. So
Well, and that sounds to me like modeling self-care, right? Like modeling being where you are instead of where you think you should be.
yeah, that's a really good point for sure. And I really love that the assistant coach, who I only just met, like I didn't know this guy beforehand, they just put us together. And we just totally like tag team, and because the whole point is to help the group. So who cares where we're at? So we just switched places and everything worked out great.
I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah. And then
So
a couple of more things, you will be like, oh yeah, that thing happened, I think. I
yeah,
remember how cool it was that
what
we
was it?
partnered so well. It was so organic. We worked really well together, right? Instead of
Yeah.
like, oh, I felt uncomfortable in whatever way.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my worst thing recently, but anyway, I just felt like I had to answer it. Okay, wow. Well, okay, hopefully you're good on time. Um, but I get to answer this question now. I feel like, well, this is how I'm going to answer it. So I'm going to reread the question. What's something you do regularly that helps you feel more like yourself? I feel like I went a little more literal on this one. But what came up for me is what I've been doing for the past several months, and it's been kind of growing and growing. I mean, it could be like the last 6 months, it could even be the last 12 months, but it's been growing and growing. And a couple of months ago, with the help of AI, it got like a label, and it's called a soft start. So I soft start my mornings now. And it's really all about what's 100% nurturing for me. It's how do I want to start this day or every day? It's not always exactly the same. It's not a rigid schedule. I don't have to do this. It's so much more fluid than that. But I've got like 10 things I like to do in the morning, like getting my day going. Some of them are really small and simple, like brushing my teeth, like making sure I definitely brush my teeth because I've skipped that for years in the morning. I was always like a one day a week, one time a day toothbrusher, but my dentist is like, you got to brush twice a day. I'm like, so I've been 100% like on, like 99% on that since my last visit. I don't think it's making a difference, but now I'm doing that like every single morning. But it's just part of my soft start. And another part of my soft start, and this guest was on her episode went live a couple weeks ago, Noemi Barris, and she has a little stone that her father gave her, and she picks it up every night before bed or when she gets into bed, and it's like her gratitude stone, and it reminds her to, it's her gratitude practice. It's not a journal, it's not a recording of any kind, but she picks up this stone. Well, I happen to get two stones because I love that idea, and like I want to do that. So I have one for the night, and I had another one because I got it, at the same shop. And now that other stone, which is sea glass for me, it's like rose quartz in the evening, but in the morning, instead of doom scrolling right when I wake up, now I pick up this little piece of sea glass and I hold it and I think about, how do I want to experience this day? And again, instead of picking up my phone, I pick up this little stone, but I do tell my speaker to turn on some specific, really calm, like meditation kind of music. And on YouTube, on my TV, I put on one of those repeating scenes of like it's a sunrise and there's maybe water trickling and you hear birds. I actually just made a video of my own with one of my own pictures, and now I'm using that. But it's just this scene that it's just like you're looking at a mountain stream with some grass or flowers blowing gently. I turn it down the volume so that I can hear my music. I've got my stone, and I'm just sort of thinking about whatever because my brain is just waking up. And now it's like a big it's a transition from my sleep state to my wake state, but it is in total alignment with who I am. And that's the really me part. It really helps me be me. Listening to this kind of meditation music is about me being me. Holding this stone is like grounding, or it's tactile. I like the feel of it. It's me being me, this beautiful nature scene. I mean, I took that picture right there. Like, I'm a backpacker. I've been in the wilderness. That's me being me. So it's like all these different things stacked up in the morning that help me transition from my sleep state to my wake state. And it's all aligned with me being me. And I do it like every morning. I have a little rebounder thing, like those mini trampolines in my room. I might do that and then get back on my bed and like journal or have conversations with AI. The music's still going, the video's still going. It's just, it's those things play for like 12 hours. And that's all just regular things that I do that help me be me. That's where I'm at.
I love that. I love that, and I'm such a fan of an intentional morning practice, though I do also appreciate the flexibility, right? Like I'm not about rigidity, but I am about intentionality and dedication, right? Because it's very easy to be like, oh, I can flex my way into, like, it's okay if I doom scroll today, but actually I feel terrible when I do that, right?
That's
But
the
to
thing.
instead
That's
be like,
why my days don't go
yeah,
as well when I scroll a bunch in the morning.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So like having some sense of like these are the elements that make for the start to the day that I want to have.
That's the whole thing. And AI helped come up with that question. How do you want to experience today? And I don't have to actually answer the question. It's just floating in my brain. Actually, I usually
Hmm.
don't answer the question. It's just sort of there.
Hmm.
And oh, I also didn't mention my therapy light, like my um SAD therapy light, seasonal
Oh yeah.
affectiveness disorder therapy light that I self-diagnosed myself with back in like 2010 or something. Oh my God, just having that sit next to me as I'm waking up, my eyes are it's so peaceful. It's so easy to do. And honestly, sometimes I don't even get 15 minutes into the light and I'm ready to get going.
Hmm.
Sometimes I do the light for 30 minutes and that's my morning, the soft start. So it all just depends. Sometimes I usually do still rebound eventually, but it just depends. Like, maybe I hold the stone for 2 minutes and I don't even think I picked it up no, I did pick it up this morning. But yeah, so
Hmm.
it's fluid.
Oh, that's lovely. We are recording this on July 10th, and so it's been just under a month since I went to my very first meditation retreat.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and
are
it
you gonna
was
share?
virtual. Pardon?
You gonna share about it?
I'd love to because it was it's sort of an interesting it's something I thought about for years and years and years and I kept not doing for a bunch of reasons. And one of the reasons was I
It's
was
easy to put
scared.
those things off.
Yeah, there was just a part of me that was just trepidatious. Like, can I do it? Is it going to be too much? Is it going to be whatever?
Is it
And
gonna
so,
be a waste of time? Should I do something more productive with my free time?
that actually wasn't one of mine. I figured it would be useful. I just wondered if it would be too much, right? Like, oh, that's a lot of time with myself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of time for my brain to beat up on me. And so I found a nice compromise in, Starter Place, which is a teacher that I really admire, Leslie Booker, was doing a retreat that you can do virtually, and you could do virtually and you could do for just a weekend, for just the 2 days, the Saturday and Sunday. So I did that, got myself a little Airbnb very close to my house, and I posted up there, and I did these 2 days of virtual meditation. And it was sort of like, have you ever had that experience where you like doing really, really good drinking your water and you just want more water? Just like, oh man, that water feels good. I want more, 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 more.
That's
That's how
exactly
it
this
felt.
this morning. I didn't have
Yeah.
coffee. I made another liter of my electrolyte mix.
And it feels so good, right? And that's how the retreat felt. It just felt so good. I was like, I want more, 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 more. And it
Oh,
actually really restarted my morning meditation practice. I'd really moved from a morning meditation to a morning like mindful movement practice. So I was like doing yoga or stretching and being present. So like it was good. It was useful, but like I wasn't just sitting in meditation.
and
And
being.
every single morning since that meditation retreat, I have sat in meditation for 15 or 20 minutes, and then I've done my yoga or stretching for another 15 or 20 minutes.
Hmm.
Um, so that takes me back to that, like having that dedication, right? Because I feel so much better, right, when I
Hmm.
do it, but also having the flexibility of like Wednesday mornings, I meditate with a group online. So often I won't do the first sit by myself. I'll just wait
Right.
and, or whatever.
Right.
Right. Or
It can
sometimes
still be a
I'll
little fluid.
shorten. Yeah, exactly. It's finding that flex, but that's
Hmm.
still deeply self-honoring. And I think my experience is one of the challenges we have as humans is that we're so susceptible to like the shiny, right? Rather than the practices that have way more payoff, but take a little more oomph, right? Like a little
And
more
they're
dedication.
probably a little boring even.
They
They're
can
not
be.
so shiny.
Yeah, exactly. Meditation is not the most fun thing I know. It's not,
Well, and
it sure ain't riding my bike.
yeah, it's not like it's not performance, it's not extravagant, it's not shock value, it's not sexual, it's not, I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
things that it's, not that is so like that gets so much attention these days, but those usually aren't the things that actually serve us better in life.
Hmm. Yeah,
I've
exactly.
I've actually with this like fitness because I've been wanting to, I need to because I'm definitely like not happy with the middle age dad bod kind of thing happening. Um, and not being in that triathlon conditioning state. Not that I have to do a triathlon because I really don't have any desire to. Um, but I don't even feel fit enough to do like a decent backpacking trip.
Mm.
So it's sort of the fitness is sort of preventing me from doing some of the things I really do want to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I started this whole practice a few weeks ago, like 16, 15 days ago, and it's not shock value, it's not shiny, but after each workout, because I might run like 3 times in one day, but I only run a
Mm-hmm.
mile, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
really easy mile. Like, I'm barely sweating, like, it's really easy, but that's the point. But then after I do it, I do a little TikTok video, and that's sort of my reward for doing it, but it's also practice in making a video, but it I'm not trying to get a million views for this little video. I'm just sort of tracking my progress toward my goal. Not this isn't some 30-day challenge, what happens to me, which is another shock value kind of thing. Um, but it's just an experiment and a journal of it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not shocking or shiny or impressive or any of those things, but it's real and
Yes.
it's helping me
Yes.
anyway.
Yes.
And that's my goal, you know?
I feel that so deeply, and it actually makes me think a lot about my relationship with food. Because like most people in the world, and particularly in the States, I have some stuff right around food and body, right?
There's a
Like we're
lot of stuff around food.
so much, right? And what I've learned over the years is that if I focus on the most profound version of pleasure that I
Okay, what does this
actually,
mean with
well, what
food?
I mean is like, okay, I have a real thing for Oreos, okay?
Okay.
But they're not
Real Oreos,
profoundly,
not like generic Oreo.
yeah, no, like the real deal, right? Like double stuff, okay?
Oh,
Like I'm about
okay,
the
double
double
stuff.
stuff
Okay.
Oreos.
Because I also have the
But
thin ones now.
yeah, no, no. Why? You know,
Okay.
it's not about the
So
cookie, it's about the
double
cream.
stuffed is
Um,
that's key. Okay.
it is the correct one. And they are not profoundly pleasurable. They are momentarily pleasurable,
Oh, okay.
right? And
Hmm.
then they leave a coat of Crisco on your tongue, and my belly's sort of like, my brain's sort of like, right?
Hmm.
So I've traded that 30 seconds of pleasure, right? At most, of like, oh yeah, I'm treating myself to the Oreo, and oh, there's the double stuff, right? Like all of that, and then that goes away so quickly, and it's like, and I'm like, right. Whereas when I take the time to make a really beautiful, what did I make the other day? Oh, I took corn and squash and onions, and I seasoned them, and I roasted them in a really hot oven, and I don't remember what I served it with right now, but it was another vegetable. And oh my gosh, like it was profoundly pleasurable because the flavors were good, the corn was
How
sweet, the
cool is
textures
that?
were there, my body was happy, my brain was happy, like all of me was happy, and all of me was happy for the rest of the night.
Wow. I mean, that's like, so you found a dish that could just light up so many different pleasure areas
Yeah.
rather than just the Oreo, which is great on the tongue in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but after that, it's
Right.
gone. But the whole vegetable array that was, I'm sure you seasoned it in some way that just really lit it up, you
It
know.
was good.
Wow, I can almost taste that in my mouth and I don't even know what you had.
But it's also like this movement, right? Like where you're moving your body, you're doing it in short bursts, right? You've got this vision of like this backpacking trip that you're earning, right? Like it's hitting you
Earning
on
and
multiple
yearning.
levels. Exactly, right? And so it's like caring for the full person
Yeah.
rather than what I'm doing with the Oreos, which is meeting that evolutionary craving for quick energy.
Quick energy, quick pleasure, quick relief, quick
Yeah,
pleasure, or ease my pain momentarily and
exactly.
not worry and then still experiencing the detrimental effects because I'll do that and I get the like knockoff generic cookie, Oreo style, which is good enough for me. And I'll have a few and sometimes after dinner or whatever, I'm like, man, that was really good. Like I enjoyed that. Or sometimes I have too many and then later I'm like, man, my stomach is not happy with that. And then I'm not sleeping as well. Then I'm making like more
Yeah,
mucus in the back of my throat through the night. And I'm
right,
like, damn those Oreos. Or
right.
those fake Oreos. Why did
Uh,
I do that? Urgh, urgh.
exactly. Exactly. So that's the
Yeah.
paradox, right? Is that what we tend to code as pleasurable tends to only have that quick hit of pleasure. But when we really pay attention to ourselves and say, okay, what is really a deeper pleasure? Like what am I really gonna get
Well, the deeper
profound pleasure out of?
goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure and pleasure can be a goal for sure.
Well, yeah, but I'll give you a different example, which is there's a French bakery in downtown of my town, which is amazing that we have this wonderful bakery because it's like a little town, like 300,000 people. It's not like a metropolis, like, but we have this French man making these French pastries, and I went there once and I got this tomato tart, and I mean like the taste of butter. This thing was like jam packed with butter, right? So it's not the kind of thing you want to
Butter
eat every day,
infused.
but it was so deeply pleasurable, right? Like even though it was sort of like a naughty food or whatever, like not something you want to eat all the time, kind of like the cookies, right?
Mm.
But it was handcrafted, it was made lovingly, it was made with good ingredients, it was flavorful, it was delicious. I didn't eat too much of it, I shared it, right? And
Mhm.
because of all of that, it's still something I think about. I haven't gone back for another one. I will at some point, but it's been a year or something. I think it was last 4th of
Oh,
July.
That's a
right?
while. Okay.
Yeah. But
I
like
mean,
it
that's
was
a pretty
deeply pleasurable.
long-lasting experience.
Exactly. So again, that's the metric for me. And it doesn't mean I only eat salads because that's what makes all parts of me happy. It means discernment. That's it. That's the word I wanted to get to. It means discernment.
Yeah, whatever it is that I'm doing, discerning all the different elements of how it's gonna impact my life.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Is
that's
this,
cool.
and the question I ask my clients all the time, and I try to ask myself all the time, is what's self-honoring right now?
Yeah, well, and that gets back to the original question of today's episode,
It
because 'cause we're still
does.
on a podcast, which it doesn't feel like it, but crap, I just wanna what did you just say?
What is self-honoring right now?
Self-honoring. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing regularly that makes you feel like yourself? I mean, that's today's
Yes.
question, and did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, make you feel more like yourself, and all these different things are tying in, and for me, it's that alignment piece, like, how can I be like, what am I doing? Is this really in alignment with who I am at my core? And you have to be very discerning about that because it's easy to get those influences from outside of you, right?
Howdy.
But when I do tap into those things that are deeply aligning,
Mm-hmm.
then, well, honestly, it brings me to tears a lot of times. Um, because it feels so good. It's so right for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I, I don't know how many people like watching, nature scenes and having it on for, an hour or two in the morning. Yeah, not that my soft start is 2 hours long, but it can be long sometimes. Um, but I love it, or the
Mm-hmm.
kind of music that I listen to. So I use Pandora, and the station is called right. So I am totally white, Caucasian, American, third generation American. Like, I'm a white male, right? But it's Chinese shop radio is the Pandora station
Oh,
that I freaking love. But I have to get it on my phone and then cast it to my speaker. I can't just say that to my speaker, my Google speaker. Let me just see if it turns on. Um, because it doesn't recognize the station then. So I found an artist that will then get me to that. But it's Chinese shop radio. It's this fluty, stringy, like you're in a old ancient Chinese shop.
oh,
But I love that stuff. I mean, it just so resonates with me. Whatever it is about it just does it for me, and that's an alignment.
well, and it's the you of now. So, also to take us back to the beginning of this conversation, right? We are ever evolving beings, right? And that's part of why we need that flexibility and to practice discernment itself. Because it could be that at some point you're like, no, actually, nature sounds would be better. Or actually, like rock, folk rock. I don't know, right?
That
Like
is
as you
so
evolve.
true. So
Hmm.
true. Where we are now, because that changes all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah. And
totally
yet
go
we
through different cycles of even music.
totally.
Yeah. And
Absolutely. And
food.
we can become overly attached to who we've been, right? We say things like, I am blank, right? Instead of like, in this moment, right? My preference is whatever, right? And then that I
Totally.
am can really get in our way. No, no, no. I am whatever, right? Even if it's I am smart and capable, right? Even that can get in our way sometimes,
Oh my
right?
God.
Certainly
This
I
is
am
so
dumb can,
well,
but
that's part of our identity now. And we latch on so hard, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm missing this, but I think there is even something to do with dementia and Alzheimer's type research and whatnot, where as we get older, if we get stuck in this one way of thinking and we don't think other ways, that can actually, our brain can actually start to, I don't want to say deteriorate, but atrophy in a way, or like you can learn new things at any age,
mhm. Oh
So
yeah.
why not try? Like a month ago, I started playing drums, like,
Oh, cool.
like just out of nowhere, almost out of nowhere. I only thought about it for a couple of weeks, maybe. And then I found a cheap set on Facebook Marketplace, my first Facebook Marketplace purchase ever.
That's a good one.
Um,
Good one.
and now for a month, I've been playing the drums like 30 to 60 minutes every single day. But it's all this retraining, and this is just where I am now, So, but if we're not constantly updating our own operate and our identity, like I don't think of myself as a drummer. I suck, talk about making mistakes, right? But who cares? It's so fun just
Right.
pounding away. They're literally right there. It's just fun, So making
Yes.
mistakes, updating the operation where we are now, trying different things that resonate with us, and are they part of our identity? Are they not? Whatever, who cares? Like, just what's the next evolution of you? And that's day to day.
Yeah, just giving it a try. Beautifully said. Congratulations on the drums. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's so fun. It's like I could go on and on about that, but I don't want to. I think one of the reasons why I have been playing so often, and this is a whole nother thing. I don't know if I mentioned this to you recently, but and this gets back to the morning practice, like the soft start that I've been doing and so on. But and it's some of the things that you were talking about, even with like the Oreos and the vegetables or that kind of thing, or the bike riding. The more friction that I can reduce, the more likely it is that I do whatever it is I want to be doing.
Exactly.
So I literally set this drum set up in my office. It faces the window, but the seat, the stool, is almost directly in the center of my room. So all I have to do to start playing is sit down, put on the headphones, because it's an e-drum kit, not a regular one. Put the headphones on, turn the power on, and I'm drumming. Like, sit down, pick up sticks, and drum. Like, it's so easy to do it. It's almost wrong not to do it.
Exactly.
And the more I make things so easy, it's not things, it's the conditions around it.
Yes.
The more I make the conditions super easy,
yes,
the more I do it. That's why the running experiment was, how easy can I get fitness or exercise back into my day? That was the whole experiment. It wasn't about running. It was, I just need to start exercising regularly again, and I'm not doing it. So what I did is design this experiment of, how easy can I make it? Well, I'll just run a mile, and I'll just do it a couple of times a day. And a mile only takes, less than 15 minutes. I'm running really slow, by the way. Who cares? Whatever.
Exactly.
I run 1 mile. It takes less than 15 minutes. I'm not exhausted after it. I didn't have to schedule this massive block into my day when I feel guilty because I'm not working or something. So I'm doing it. I've been doing it.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
So just reducing the friction around whatever it is. And I'm not the first one to think of this. People are like, oh, just go to sleep in your running clothes, or put your running shoes right next to your bed instead of slippers. And so when you wake up, you put your running shoes on. It's that much easier to do. So you do it. Well, I'm just doing that with like everything in my life, like even all around Uchi, the app is how it's Uchi is all about removing all of the other distractions that we have in our lives, because we all have a lot of, not just distractions, but obligations, responsibilities. Remove all of these other things, remove all the pictures and the video, and trying to figure out what you're going to say and how's your lighting for your video and your TikTok and your Instagram reel, or what. Remove how am I, designing this photograph that I'm putting up on Instagram. remove all of this stuff and make it so easy. Just answer a simple question and know that it's only your people who are reading it. That's it. It's that easy, because we're not even having those conversations in our own home. I mean, that's the data.
Yeah. Yeah.
So wherever I can remove friction, it just makes life easier.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm 100% with you. I try to do those things as well. Though my favorite version of that was a dear friend of mine. He's so smart. He's so studious in his when he's being self-honoring. He starts his day with reading and meditation. But he had gotten hijacked by some game he was really into, and so he got a timed safe. And he would just put his video game system in the time safe, and it created a new habit, right? He re-solidified the morning habit, and then he didn't need the safe anymore.
Yeah, well, he made the friction really high because he put the device in the safe. Now I can't even get it, so the friction's so high I can't even do that gaming thing. And now I'm just going to go do this other thing that I want to do.
Exactly. Reduce the friction to the reading and meditating.
Yeah, like, oh, it's so easy just to pick up a book.
Exactly. Exactly. I loved it. I just thought it
So
was
in
so
one
brilliant.
way, he added friction to stop the condition was add more friction to stop one behavior, but also reduce friction to do the behavior that you want to be doing.
Exactly. And I'm a fan of adding even just the tiniest bit of friction to add a pause point. So for example, I don't put my phone at the end of the night, I don't put my phone across the room, but I put it on my dresser instead of my bedside table, right? And that's just enough friction to getting to my phone that I go like, do I really mean to look at this? Like, no, that's not what I mean to do first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
right?
that
And so it can
extra
stay
reach or one step out of bed to get there is just enough friction that I won't do that behavior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it is we do over rely on willpower, in my opinion.
Right.
So the friction is a way to offload some of that.
That is exactly what I'm getting. You don't need willpower, you don't need motivation, you don't need morality. There's so many of these like human traits and characteristics that we've been like relying on or assigning, like, oh, you're a good person or a bad person if you exercise or don't. When if you just create the conditions for that behavior, and the conditions being with the least amount of friction, people will do amazing things.
Yes. Yes. Oh, beautiful.
Well, then on that note, this is another episode of Question It. If you want to be a guest, and the only qualifications to be a guest are open-minded and having an opinion that you want to share, because we never know what we're going to talk about. So there's a link to a form in the show notes. It's easy to fill out, takes less than a minute. Young people are definitely welcome. We've had people over 80 on the show, but I would love to get some teenagers or even younger with parents' permission, because I'd love to hear their perspective as well, right? All right, so until next time, peace, love, and connect.